Okay, everybody, today I'm just going to take you through what the different circuit diagram symbols are. So, you can do the homework. Okay, so first of all, this symbol is the battery, and you'll see there's two lines, and one of them, the shorter one that we see right here, that means negative. Okay, and the longer one here, that's the positive terminal. Sometimes batteries are written like this. This is what it would look like if it was horizontal. Other times we have a battery like that, and that's when it's vertical. It doesn't matter. Okay. Alright. You'll also see it specifically in the homework. You'll see it like this. So sometimes you'll see batteries and it looks like there's two of them right in a row. You'll see this symbol by it. Don't worry about that. This one over here looks like 3 in a row. Don't worry about any of that right now. We'll maybe see some of that stuff later on. Okay, a light bulb on the simulation, and what you're supposed to do today in the simulation is you're supposed to click on a different view, which I'll show you later, and it will change the picture of a light bulb to this symbol right here. On the side, it changes the symbols to this. The light bulb to that symbol. You'll also see it written these other 3 ways, especially on the homework. This is the way that I write them in my diagrams, and what I do is I just draw a line and then I do a little loop-de-loop and keep going, and I come back to it later and I circle it, and there's my light bulb. That's the easiest one to draw, for me at least. Okay, the switch. We haven't really talked about a switch yet. These are like a light switch. And when we draw them, typically we draw them open, just to show that there's a switch, and then in the problems a lot of times we say, if you were to close the switch, what would happen, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, we always need to have these 2 dots in here. Even if you draw it and it's closed, these 2 dots, just by having those 2 dots, I would see that in the circuit and know that there's a switch there, but it's closed. And the important part about the switches is when they're open, the electricity cannot flow through. This should have been bolded. Cannot. And when they're closed, the electricity can flow through. Okay, and you guys are going to use that in the activity. So here's an example. This over here is basically what those MIT and Harvard grads from last week, when they couldn't light a light bulb with 1 wire, a light bulb and a battery. This is what they should have done. And I believe one of the guys actually did it. You put the light bulb right on top of the battery, and then you take the wire out the side. Okay, so the bottom was on the battery, and then the wire is on the side. Anyway, and so what this does is we can convert this from the circled one that I just did. This is the actual picture of a battery, picture of a light bulb. Over here on the right, we've got this battery. Then we've got, it's okay that the light bulb is sitting right on top of the battery, but here we have a wire. Don't worry about that. We always use a wire. Then we draw the light bulb, circle it, okay, and then we just connect back to the negative end of the battery. Done. Okay, so that's how that gets converted into its diagram. So the important part about wires, so wires are just straight lines. They're always straight and they make right angles. Okay, so I would not go like this and make like a circle. Okay, these have to be, whoops, these have to be like corners, right angles, and the wires are always straight, even though clearly like here on the left they're a little curved. We wouldn't draw that in the diagram. They're always straight. And you should have figured out last week that a light bulb needs to be connected on the bottom and on the side. So here's the bottom, here's the side. So if they were to have tricked you and told you that if this wire, rather than the wire going on the side, if they had drawn the wire this way, okay, and again, pretend this part does not exist. So if the wire and the battery both connect on the bottom, this light bulb actually wouldn't light up, in which case we wouldn't draw it in the circuit diagram. Now this wouldn't make sense to have a battery connected with a wire. That would burn out the battery. But so let's say there were 2 light bulbs in like the actual drawing. One of them was connected the wrong way, the other one was connected the correct way. We would draw only one that's connected the correct Okay. Next, a couple of thoughts about PhET. So the simulator. Today I tell you guys that what I want you to do is switch from regular component mode over to symbol mode. So to do that, I tell you to look in the bottom right corner. This battery right now is like the drawing mode, like how it is where we see like a picture of a battery, a picture of a light bulb, all that. What you want to do then is click on this guy right here, and that takes you to symbol mode. So give me a second, let me switch. Okay, so when I hit that, okay, so now I've switched to symbol mode, and we can see on the left, we can see all the different symbols: wire, battery, light bulb, resistor, which we haven't talked about yet, switch, all that. Okay, so that's number one, what I want to show you. Number two, how to disconnect stuff, because you're going to need to do that in the activity today. So you just click on one of the circles, any of the circles, and the yellow scissors pop up, and you hit the scissors and it disconnects it. That's it. Okay, I'm gonna get that out of there actually. Okay. Okay. Another thing I want to show you guys is ammeters. So I'm going to disconnect this. Usually we take, Mr. Morrison and I like to do the ammeter, the rectangular one, because this is real life, like how the ammeters are used. We put them in what's called in series, which you guys will learn more about. And they act just like a wire. The current flows right through them. They basically act like a wire. Okay? Alright, next thing, and the voltmeter. So you can take the voltmeter out and drag it, and these are two probes, and you put one in the other. If you do it the wrong way, right now there's no current, so you don't have to worry about it, but if you do it the wrong way, you'll get a negative value. Don't worry about that. Okay, and so to change the value of the battery and the light bulbs, you just click on them. So click on the battery, there we go, or we click on the light bulb, and it brings up resistance, 7 ohms, and I can slide this and move it all the way up to 120. If I move it down to 0, I'll burn out the battery. I'll just leave it at 17.5. The battery, same thing. I can move it all the way up to 120 or all the way down to 0. I'll leave it there. Okay, last thing, this switch here. To use it, all you have to do is just click it and it'll open up or close the switch, electricity can flow. I click it again, it stops it. So that's helpful, especially if you're like me and you get annoyed by in the background all this stuff moving. I put a switch in and then I don't have to. But in your homework, a lot of times we put switches in because sometimes when it's open it only lights up 1 bulb, but when you close it, it lights up like 2 or 3 or something. Okay, there we go. Alright, that's it. Enjoy this week's activity. Missed you guys.